Witches, peace. It's Luna here with an unboxing, and it's a special unboxing because it's not only a gift deck, but it's a used gift deck. And this came from Ups and Downs, viewer Ups and Downs. And I am so very grateful because this is the Jungian Tarot, but even better, this is the first edition of the Jungian Tarot. This is available now, the 2017 edition, through US Games. This original edition is published by Urania Verlag AG, so the AG Muller, in Switzerland, 1988. So this is a first edition of the Jungian Tarot, and I'm so thrilled. Thank you so much for this gift. She noticed that there was, this was on my wish list on Amazon, and she said, hey, I have that deck and I don't want it anymore. Contacted me, I gave her shipping information, and now I have this lovely, lovely gift. So let's go in. Let me zoom you in. All right. The Jungian Tarot by Robert Wang. We have 1988 by Robert Wang, published by Urania Verlag AG in Neuhausen, Switzerland. There's like the box bottom thing. I don't know what they call that without a flap. The Jungian Tarot, the Jungian Tarot. On the back it says, the creator of this tarot, Dr. Robert Wang, is an internationally acclaimed art historian artist who specializes in the history and development of symbol systems. Wow. I bet he'd be a fascinating guy to talk to, huh? He explains the tarot, originally a game, so they say, as a product of 14th century Gothic humanism. His book, Tarot Psychology, including a 34-week course of self-study, is a useful accompaniment to this tarot. I think that's going to be going on my wish list like right now, provided it's available. The Jungian Tarot contains 78 cards reproduced from Dr. Robert Wang's oil paintings. So in the middle of a Jungian introduction, I do a Freudian slip. His oil paintings, its archetypal images have been designed as stimulus cues for what C.G. Jung called active imagination, a process intended to lead to the ultimate self-understanding, which he called individuation. And I have to pause for just a second here because I need to get into my Facebook, because when she contacted me to get shipping information, I asked her to send me, her name is Kelly, I asked Kelly to send me a specific question, if she had specific questions, so she did. And Kelly sent me this lovely card. Advice from a cat. Be frisky, pounce on possibilities, enjoy the nightlife, always land on your feet, stretch often, delight in the simple joy of a long nap, create your perfect day. So even though I opened my Facebook, that is not what I needed. She put her questions in this lovely card. So that's what I will be referring to when I do the reading at the end. You too can have a personal reading to a specific question if you jump on my wish list, purchase me a deck off of there, and then in the notes, you can add a note, put the question that you'd like me to focus on when I do your reading. Up till now, I've just been doing general readings for people, and I've not had any complaints, but why not take the opportunity to get a specific question answered? I mean, really. Okay, let's go in. The box has a pleasing amount of wear. All right, so we have Tarot and Literature, Tarot of the Witches class. So these are other decks by Urania Verlag. Oswald Wirth, I've heard of him. The Decini are interesting. Okay, there's the backs. And in Deutsche Sprache, A.G. Muller. This says A.G. Muller. All right, here are the card backs. Kind of like a, I don't know, several triptychs. I don't know if these images are directly from the cards or, I don't know. We'll find that out, I suppose. All right, going in. And here's the little white book. Let's take a look at that quickly. All right, so we only have one page of introduction. Let's read it. The Jungian Tarot is a set of archetypal images carefully designed for use in a process which Carl Jung, one of the founders of the psychoanalytic movement, called active imagination. It is hoped that readers will find in these pictures a comfortable visual introduction to principles of Jungian psychology, and that they will be encouraged to seriously consider Dr. Jung's brilliant summation of the Western mystery tradition and his translation of its ideas into modern psychological terms. This pamphlet can provide only a very brief synopsis of a system of attributions, and readers should turn to the deck's two companion books to understand how these meanings have been derived. The more general book, Tarot Psychology, includes a self-study course and a technical explanation of ways in which values have been assigned. In this regard, it must be understood that most currently accepted systems of value assignment were arbitrarily developed by 19th century occult groups. By contrast, attributions to the Jungian Tarot have been painstakingly researched in an effort to clearly relate Tarot interpretation to the more ancient and traditional study of astrology and of Hermetic Kabbalah. All right. A second book, The Jungian Tarot, an Iconological Study in Cross-Cultural Archetypal Imagery, wow, that's also published by Urania Verlag in 1990, is a complex academic overview of the Tarot in terms of comparative religions and mythologies. That sounds fascinating as well, and dense. So we go through each of the cards, and each of the cards, well, the major arcana has an archetype. It has the astrological attribution and then an archetype. So I think we might follow along in the book with this. Why not? And at the very end, okay, we get to the end of the Pentacles, and that's it. We don't have any layouts or anything more than just the descriptions of the cards. So I'm certainly going to be looking those books up. All right. Here we go. The Fool. You notice there is no writing or numbering on the cards, so you got to know your imagery. Here's the Fool. There's a cat next to him. There's an egg with a serpent. So we've got a lot of really cosmic symbols here, kind of a solar wheel. That looks like an apple tree. The apples are in a particular configuration. The rose that he's holding is on fire, and there's a crown in the sky. So we've got serious symbology here. Let's read the full thing for the Fool here. The astrological is Pluto. It's the archetype of creative emptiness, collective idea, and organized group. For the Fool, interesting. The underworld, the dead, originality, reproduction, regeneration, social urge. Wow! Ideas ahead of their time which will not bear fruit until the next generation. That's pretty specific. Foundations for advancement of human welfare, the non-existent roots of the collective unconscious. The non-existent roots of the collective unconscious. Not gonna lie, that's pretty dense. That is pretty weighty compared to the usual description of the Fool as being, all potential, foolishness, kind of moving ahead too quickly, new beginnings, fresh starts, innocence. None of those are mentioned here. So, okay, on we go. I'm not going to take this much time with each one of them. So here's the Magician, and they're certainly recognizable compared to the general Tarot imagery and the Waite Smith imagery. And we've got alchemist tools here on the Magician's table and a fly. This is Uranus and the archetype of Animus. Then we have the High Priestess, Neptune, and the archetype of Anima. Animus and anima, my understanding, if you're female, you have an animus, which is your male reflection that is not incarnate. And if you're female, you've got or if you're male, you've got anima. All right. High Priestess, change, fluctuation, everything false. Deception, delusion, dreams, schemes of all kind, but also profound wisdom in an eccentric person. Theatricality, music, artistic and literary genius, love of mystery, eroticism, social unrest, mobs of the common people. Fascinating stuff here. Wow. Pretty obscure stuff, too. Okay, the Empress, Venus, archetype of the mother, with the Loch Ness Monster in the background. The Emperor is Aries, archetype of the father, of course. The Hierophant, Taurus, archetype of the lesser creator. The lesser creator. Okay. Then we have, the lover, not the lovers. Gemini, archetype of original man. Wow. Duality, diversity, swiftness, decision between two alternatives. And we have a male and female there, but the lover is male. Okay. The Chariot. Mercury, archetype of spirit below. Strength is Leo, archetype of original woman. Lover was original man. Interesting. The Hermit, Virgo, archetype of the wise old man. The Wheel of Fortune, Jupiter, archetype of the mother is Fortuna. Now, see, I thought Jupiter would be the greater creator. Maybe that's going to be Sun. All right, archetype of the mother as Fortuna. Wheel of Fortune, Justice is Libra, archetype of punishment and reward. Hanged Man, Cancer, archetype of the sacrificed god, and he's got a snake entwined around him, and he's making this symbol, the triangular symbol. Death, Scorpio, archetype of transition. Whoops. Temperance is Sagittarius in the archetype of mediation. That makes sense. Devil is Capricorn, archetype of shadow. And we have the man and woman here again, but they're like mummified. They're bound by wrappings. Okay. The Tower, Mars, archetype of father as protector and avenger. The Star is Aquarius, archetype of Sol Invisibilis, so the invisible sun. I wonder if we'll have Sol Invictus here. The Moon is Moon, archetype of the deadly mother. Well, okay, I'm really interested in this because this is totally unrelated, but there's a whole genre of songs in Ireland and Scotland about the deadly mother, the mother that kills her children. So interesting. So we've got kind of this Gorgon looking person here. The Sun, archetype of the child. All right, so here's the child. Where's the prime creator? The what did they call that again? The lesser creator. Judgment is Pisces in the archetype of rebirth. Pisces. How interesting. Isolated introspection, struggle facing opposites. Judgment is a moody and murky lower level of justice. Occultism and psychism. Development of the ability to perceive forces behind appearance, the danger of spiritual pride. Well, that's true, but very, very interesting. The World is Saturn, archetype of persona. So we'd never have a greater creator. All right, King of Wands. Sun in Aries and Moon in Aries. Aggressive father. Queen of Wands. I'm just going to give the archetype, not all the astrological stuff here. Although we've got Queen of Wands, Sun in Aries, and Moon in Cancer, so it looks like we're doing All right, so all of the courts of wands are sun in Aries, but they have the moon in one of the, they used all the 4 cardinal signs for the positions of the moon. So we've got sun in Aries with moon in Aries, moon in Cancer is the queen, moon in Libra is the prince, and moon in Capricorn is the princess. And we have the, okay, so these, let's go here. Sorry, this might be another edit so that I can see them in order. All right. I rearranged them so they're in order with the book. So King of Wands, aggressive father. Queen of Wands is the stylish mother. Prince is the affectionate son, and princess is the clever daughter. Okay, then we have the ace, birth and death. And you can see this, there's a white and a black serpent. So we've got kind of the caduceus, but you could see the life and death thing there. Birth and death. 2 is invention. And so we're going through, we've got Pluto in Aries, Uranus in Aries, Neptune in Aries, Jupiter in Aries. So it looks like the suits, aside from the courts, are the planets through a particular sign, and it looks like we might be doing the 4 cardinal signs. All right. Invention, fantasy and mystery. So these are pip cards. Success. Ooh. Right away thinking about, a deck modification, adding those words. But this is an original edition. I don't think I'll do that. 5 of Wands, assertiveness. The 6 is leadership. The 7 is passion. The 8, intellectual activity, Mercury in Aries. The 9 is anger and volatility. That's moon in Aries. And these are obviously wands. And the 10, careful management. So wands are fire here. Now, we go to the cups. The intellectual, so we have sun in Cancer. So yes, the suits are the 4 cardinal signs. Interesting that we go with the cardinal signs rather than the fixed. All right. Intellectual father. So again, we're looking at a sun in a cardinal sign and the moon in the other, in all of the cardinal signs for each of the courts. Fascinating. Intellectual father. Emotional mother, the charming son, the ambitious daughter. Wow. Change of feelings, adventure, secure environment is Neptune in Cancer. Wow. This is kind of blowing my mind, you guys, because never in a million years would I think of Neptune representing security. All right, Jupiter in Pisces, pleasure. Okay, wait, whoa. So everything else in this suit is, hold up. Everything else in this suit is in Cancer, but Jupiter says Jupiter in Pisces. So confused. All right. The 4 is pleasure. The 5 is troubles. 6, sympathetic attachment. 7, obstacles. 8 is change. And I'm not even trying to like cross attribute to my usual tarot understanding, so I'm just not doing it. Moon in Cancer, this is vacillation, and the 10 is pain and sorrow. I mean, think about that. The 10 of Cups being pain and sorrow. Wow, is this ever different? So it would be very good to memorize like the order that they go through the cardinal signs. The courts go from king to princess and they step right through them. Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn. Then with the planets, they go Pluto, starting with the ace. They start with the end, with Pluto. Then they go to Uranus and then to Neptune. And then they go to Jupiter, Mars, then to Sun, Venus, Mercury, Moon, and Saturn is the 10. Fascinating. All right, King of Swords, the romantic father. So we're air in Libra. This is the diplomatic mother. The idealist son, the controlling daughter. Okay, the ace, conflict of ideas, opposition and loss, idealism, imagination, rash decision, justice is the 6, the 7 is love. 7 of Swords is love. I mean, it is a whole system unto itself. Intellectual skill. I wish it weren't, you know, I wish that, and I mean, they explain it in the beginning by saying that these systems and the meanings of them were developed beyond a game in the 1700s. Did they say the 18th century or the 19th? Okay. 19th century, so the 1800s. So they are going back to an earlier system, and, you know, okay. Intellectual skill is the 8. The 9 is sharing. The 10, gain through partnership. Okay, King of Pentacles, the responsible father. Queen of Pentacles, the secretive mother. The prince is the self-assured son. The princess is the isolated daughter. Remember, we're in Capricorn now. This is security destroyed is the Ace of Pentacles. Reorganization. Response to conflict. Wealth. Responsible authority is the 5 of Pentacles. The 6 is wealth through hard work. 7 is gain through commerce. 8, manipulation and secrets. The 9 is selfishness. The 10 is isolated power. And that is the end of the book. All right. Absolutely fascinated to get in here. So let me zoom you back out and let's light a frickin' charcoal, shall we? Boy, sorry everybody, my cauldron needs to be cleaned. It's got a pile of ash on there. Right. So let's uncork the water and invite in allies and ancestors, guides and guardians to come in and enlighten me with this deck. Enlighten me as to the system of it. And oh, we have something. Secundus homo chalisus de chelo. Chali is like heaven, pretty sure. Primo homo Terrenus de Terra, first man, something like earth of earth maybe, heaven of heaven, second. Decatus adque non hocatus deus aderit. I don't do Latin. At any rate, allies and ancestors, guides and guardians, come in and help clear my mind for a new system. Help me be open to new ideas, new meanings. They shuffle well, a little bit stiff. I offer you fire of Azrael, and I offer you fresh water. And I'm salt watering it to ground. Okay. And I am purposely not doing a smoke cleanse with sage because I want her energy still on this deck. I've given it the offering, but not the cleanse. So, let's take a look at the question. Let me shuffle another couple times here. I love to shuffle cards. All right. So, question. She says, a serious life shift. My folks are moving to Panama in 4 years. Following them will require careful planning beginning now. Should I be preparing for this new chapter in the States or in a whole new country? It's nerve-wracking. It would definitely be an exciting adventure. So, and I gotta say, Kelly, having a chart done would be very advantageous. Okay, we have a jumper already. This is 3 of Pentacles. Let's see what the jumper says. Okay, Neptune in Capricorn, response to conflict. Okay, so there's a conflict that you're in right now. Do I do this or do I do that? I will tell you that my first just intuitive psychic impression is that it is too early for that decision to be made. That 4 years is a long time. There are other factors that no one can predict in that time. So it's too early to make that decision set in stone. So right off the bat, what I want to say is, what is it that you can do to prepare without committing? To prepare that can keep you flexible. All right, and I'm getting 2 years, that in 2 years it's going to be much more apparent which is the thing to do. But let's move forward here. Reaction to changing social structure, ambivalent attitude toward authority figures, confrontations are dark, inner response may be unclear. Well, and that's what you're saying. I don't know which way to go here. Repressed materials of childhood, success in the arts, in philosophy and religion, which delve into unconscious materials and bring them down to the world. All right, so there's certainly your parents are going, so there's, childhood stuff coming up as well. I'm gonna obviously not shuffle anymore. Let's look at the 3 we have. I was gonna do my 6 card where I do 3 and then I bridge those and then I bridge them again. We've got the Hanged Man coming up here. That is indicative of not knowing which way to go. I'm left hanging. And it also talks about the perspective that, calls for, Hanged Man generally calls for a change of perspective. But let's see what he says in this deck. He is Cancer, archetype of the sacrificed god, radical change of perspective, changing places with opposite, psychic activity and connection to the universe. At a mundane level, this may show a strong sense of family and of home. Though fond of changing conditions and of travel, one gladly returns home. Symbolically, this means a deep desire to return to the source of life. Okay, So obviously we've got a valid reading here. We are addressing the question directly. And saying that we're looking at it a whole change in perspective here. First of all, you have this strong sense of family and home. Now, I would hazard a guess from this that you are either on the young side, like 20s and 30s, still wanting to really have that strong connection to parents. On the other hand, possibly older with parents that are aging and thinking I need to be there to take care of them. So it's about, are they taking care of you or are you taking care of them? And just this, the strong sense of family and home is certainly there. Okay, let's move on. We've got the Prince of Cups. This is the Sun in Cancer and the Moon in Libra. So the nurturing part there, Sun in Cancer. Moon in Libra, though, there's an ambivalence here. The charming Sun, emotional, romantic, center of attention, can be delightful in a group. Being constantly pursued has made him self-centered and superficial. Gives little of himself, which is part of his attraction. Also afraid of being hurt, avoids conflict. All right, let's look at this. And of course, we're getting all the fucking court cards. All right, King of Wands. Sun in Aries, Moon in Aries, aggressive father, forceful, independent, says what he thinks, often with no concern for the feelings of others. Pioneering and masterful, feels he is not understood, may be eccentric, impulsive, difficult, and demanding. So, I mean, though we're talking about archetypes here, we really are talking about traits of a person. So I wonder if there's a part of you that wants to be pleasing to a very strong father personality that maybe, the change in perspective is looking right now at what role you're playing. And from these, it would look like I want to please my father. I'm thinking after I do the first 6, I may take clarifiers on the court cards. Okay. So between the Hanged Man, this pull towards home is what I'm really going to look at that as. And it says, after travel, one gladly returns home. I mean, that is an indicator that if you travel, you will be home because you're following family. All right. This is 7. Venus in Cancer, obstacles. Obstacles primarily to love and money. Very subtle blocks may involve one or both parents. Family strife, serious clashes. Parents try to control values by financial support. Parents may provide backing. A search for security and warmth. Transition, overcoming the obstacles with effort and sacrifice. So it does sound like there, and with this, it was coming out and saying, what was it saying? Repressed materials of childhood. So I do wonder if, all roads here are pointing to you really needing to clarify the motivation. You're talking about it being an adventure, but is it an adventure that you would choose if your parents weren't going there? And if if the answer to that is no, then really looking at why do I feel the need to follow my parents? Why am I following them? And seeing if there is maybe some childhood stuff there that needs to be unpacked. Okay. So this again, family strife. Serious clash as parents try to control values. Very interesting. And then we have the Ace of Swords here. I'm also kind of interested to just look at traditional meanings. and see how that shakes out. In which case, this would be the Knight of Cups with something to offer, and the King of Wands, well, he usually shows up as a professional something, which may indicate that it's for career reasons or professional reasons that they'd be going to begin with. Seven of Cups is just sort of wool gathering on what all the possibilities are and all the choices are. And again, I'm really feeling like, do you need to make this decision now? Or do you just start preparing for the eventuality by setting resources aside? Which, what's the downside of that? There isn't one. And then just letting things play out to the point where it becomes clear. I just feel like this is premature. Then between these two here, we've got the Ace of Swords, and to me, the Ace of Swords is always about making a decision, a dividing line, and that new beginning comes from what you let go of. But in this deck, it says conflict of ideas, power struggle. So look at the Sun here, and let's look at the child and the parent, leaving gender aside. The child and the parent, and we have conflict of ideas, power struggle, ideological conflict over principles, great force exposes shocking secrets. Yikes. Real truth comes out in open and direct fight. Someone may be hurt emotionally, physically, financially. Something new emerges, outworn ideas discarded, the root of thought. So again, everything to me is coming through as, what is your motivation? Why do you want to go? Is it really for you? And I want to encourage you to make decisions based on you and what you want and what you need, right? Now the end here, we've got the King of Pentacles. So, fucking court cards. You know how much I hate them. Okay. King of Pentacles, Sun in Capricorn and Moon in Aries is the responsible father. Independent, assertive, tireless, strong and uncompromising, may be a powerful executive in a large company, willing to listen but egocentric and demanding, always believes himself right, makes strict demands on others, has integrity, but may be ruthless and cruel if cornered. Okay, I'm taking clarifiers here. We've got the Ten of Wands there. We've got the Nine of Pentacles there. And we've got the Chariot there. Okay. Ten of Wands. Oops. Ten of Wands. All right. Careful management is Saturn in Aries. Well-reasoned plan and control of structured group, function within organizations, success through large companies, isolation and loneliness at pinnacle of authority, tendency to react defensively and irritably to badly organized ideas. What's standing out to me here is well-reasoned plan and control of structure, the planning part of it, that you're looking for perspective on making this, and you do mention that it would take the 4 years of planning. So you are a planner, you like to manage things, you like to have control of what you can control, possibly like control of everything, whether I have control of it or not. So that's something that needs to be checked here, is how much control do I have in this situation, and how much heartache can I cause myself by trying to control things that really aren't under my sphere of influence. Okay, and then over here we had Nine of Pentacles. Moon in Capricorn, selfishness, egocentric control, no concern about feelings of others. Everything revolves around a person getting what he wants. At best, one has earned reward. At worst, ruthlessness and destruction, flaunting social conventions by which others must abide. So if I look at it as a modifier of this King of Wands here, there's definitely that strong personality attempting to control. Now, whether that's your father, I mean, that's where it's showing up. And what was the Ten of Wands again? Planning. All right. So we have the pull towards family and this planning, and then we go to that Seven of Cups, which was what again? Obstacles. Well, the Chariot, let's just look at the Chariot at the bottom here. Free flow of thought. This is archetype of spirit below. Transmission of news, letters, short travels, contracts. Brilliant and facile, but not necessarily profound. Clarity in communications. Papers connected with money. Cunning, crafty, and subtle. Humor, good memory. May also be related to education, indecision under negative conditions. Wow. All right, well, the indecision, it's certainly showing there. But if I look at, if I look at this in terms of my understanding of Tarot, we've got the Hanged Man. Things are hanging. You're in waiting mode. You're indecisive. Ten of Wands says that you're carrying, it's one of the core issues is about carrying the entire load for yourself. Nine of Pentacles here says money to take care of myself, having enough resources to take care of myself all by myself. Then we've got the Seven of Cups here with just the indecisiveness and the many scenarios playing in your mind. Ace of Swords says time to cut some of those out. It's time to go through and weed out the ones that are absolutely not an option, right? And then Chariot says we certainly move forward, but I mean, it says the choice is absolutely yours. Again, I'm going to go back to my original here, that everything hinges on the why. Why would I go there? Why would I stay here? And get clear on that. And, getting really clear on what it is you want out of life. I mean, are we still just kind of in that really fluid place of, I'm not sure what I want out of life? You feel like you're on the younger side to me, but I have no idea one way or the other. I would say the final here is that you absolutely, it's your choice one way or the other. And you're only going to get clarity on that when you clarify the why. Again, I get that very strong feeling that it's too early to absolutely decide now, but the next 2 years can be in setting yourself up. So here's where we come up to this careful management, control and management of resources, and pulling those together so that you can be ready to make a decision when it's actually time, when things become much clearer. All right, I want to look here too. We've got the Eight of Pentacles. Manipulation and secrets, intrigue, mystery, subtlety. Response to conflict. Okay, that's not making any sense to me, so I'm going to stop. I hope that made sense to you. And, whether or not it did will let me know how this deck reads. I mean, I certainly was able to follow a thread through, but it is very jarring, and in a good way, to have such really different meanings coming up. Okay, so that just came out of that reading again. I'm going to do a general now and I'm going to ask personally, okay, what do I need to do? Taking the jumpers. And then I've got the fourth down here. So I'm looking at just what do I need to do today, a general reading for me. What do I need to know right now? Here's the moon. which is the archetype of the deadly mother, illusion, deception, dark dreams, and changing moods, a test of the hero, maternal instinct, menstruation, childbirth, the home, the house, travel and change, rhythm, fantastic visions welling up in the imagination, and blind terror. Okay, test of the hero is what's standing out to me here, and the maternal. I am definitely going through some tests around the maternal right now. And then we have Three of Cups, Neptune in Cancer, secure environment, well-being, a protected enclosed place, usually a family unit, all needs provided, nurture, sympathy, stylish refinement, charming environment, may be decadent, and security may be a blessing or a prison. All right, so this one is telling me just for today, just to stay the fuck home, stay in my happy place. And then we've got Swords, the Princess of Swords, who is Sun in Libra, Moon in Capricorn, the controlling daughter, orderly, feelings very much under control, takes few chances, cautious, prudent, selfish, a shrewd manager who gets what she wants. To her, the end justifies the means, even things which are illegal or unethical. Yikes. Orderly, feelings under control. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, and then we've got him too, the Prince of Swords. The idealist son, graceful, charming, romantic, may rely too much on others, loves to love, and escapes the coarse world and storybook fantasies, delightful companion, easily hurt, easily reached through emotions, runs from conflict, may withdraw from society or become seriously emotionally ill. Yikes, man. Okay, wait a minute. Let's take one more. I get the Star at the end of this. Archetype of Sol Invisibilis, inspiration and knowledge, a card of meditation and of a search for truth. Sol Invisibilis is the inner shining star of the self. Qualities of thoughtfulness, of sincere friendliness, of generosity. So meditation, certainly. All right, I'm not going to explain all of it, but it does make sense to me. It does make sense. So the deck reads, but more importantly than that, hold up, I dropped them all over the floor. More importantly than that, and you know what? Yes, that is. I mostly am just so thrilled to have this deck in the collection. So thrilled. 1988, this is a vintage deck. This is over 20 years old. It's an original edition. And it is now part of my collection through your generosity, Kelly, and I send you so many blessings for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I mean, really thrilled just to have it, and that it's original. I mean, I'm thrilled. Thank you so much. So again, if you guys would like to get in on this kind of personal reading thing, click that wish list down below. If you get just so much value out of these videos, consider sending me a tip. There's 2 links down below that you can do that. There's also a Patreon that you can join if you really want to learn a lot about astrology and have personal access to me every month on our Patreon call. I will see you again on Saturday for Prayer Circle, Saturday or Friday night, Wednesday night for readings for the signs. Just click the subscribe button already and hit the bell, and then you'll know what the hell I'm doing and when. No more guessing. You don't have to remember a schedule. Thanks for hanging out with me every time I do this. I really appreciate it. Hit that like button while you're at it, because it really helps the algorithm tell people what I do. All right, you guys, I will see you next time. Till then, this is the Zen Witch. Blessed be.